Welcome, heroes. My name is Daniel, and this is our brand new 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons campaign, which will take place in a world called Mythia, my own campaign setting here on the Homebrew Channel. We'll be posting the entire campaign online as a veritable feast for your eyes and ears. Mythia is a world of fate, where each and every creature, lots of landmass, and several objects possess fate which determine their destiny. Nothing can go against its fate, and many people are cursed with terrible and damning fates, which they must struggle against their whole lives. Others, however, are blessed by fates, and these unique people are called Ascended. Ascended are usually gifted a fate that makes them the best at something, or provides unique and special powers. Think fantasy superheroes. The player characters are among those blessed by fate, and each of them already has had a huge impact on the world. Now, the premise of the campaign is that these all-powerful characters, this all-powerful force called fate, which has already existed for as long as anything on Mythia, is going to break. The world will be thrown into chaos, and our heroes will be the only ones who can stop it. So, welcome to Mythia, and I'm going to hand off the introduction to my players so they can introduce themselves, a little about their time that they've been playing D&D, and their characters that they're going to be playing during this campaign. So we'll start over here on the right with my lovely wife, Sarah.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I will be playing a character named Juniper, who is a fairy godmother. I think I'm going to keep her pretty mysterious, though.
So the setting is fairy tale-like, hence fairy godmother. Each of the characters possess a trope that their character is drawn from, a very classic, sometimes overused fantasy trope that they are going to turn on its head. So that's how this is going to work, and we'll go ahead and jump to the next in line, Jamie, over here on the right.
I'm Jamie. I'm playing Euphemia Carr. She's a pirate with a lot of secrets and a very special power. I don't want to give too much away.
Indeed, she does have a very strong power. So over to the left, we will start over here with Tyler.
My name's Tyler, and I'm playing a character named Roland Tarkan, and he's one of the more well-known among everybody else in Mythia, and it's common knowledge that in one-on-one fight, he will win every single time, regardless of who it is. And he's trying to be a little better when it's not one-on-one, but we'll see how that goes.
So Tyler Roland's fate is that in single combat, he cannot be bested. So no matter what the other creature is on the other side, if he is one-on-one, he will win every time. Fate makes that happen. So that's how his fate works. Obviously, that's a huge power. But we'll see how strong he is when it breaks. So over here also on the left, our last player, that is Julian.
Hey. My name is Julian. I'll be playing Isaac. Isaac is the reformed villain / puppet master archetype. He was a tiefling born into nobility and recently had a change of heart. So we're going to see how he goes through that process and if he turns into a better person.
All right. So the campaign is a homespun campaign with homebrew rules. These are intended to make the characters uniquely powerful and capable of being some of the most unique and world-class heroes, even though they're only starting at level 8.
Only level 8.
Only level 8, yes. Right. We will be following a lot of 5e rules, but don't hold us fast to all these rules. You might see a wizard with cleric spells. You might see extra abilities that these classes definitely would not have on there. So don't go nuts on, rules lawyer or anything like that. And there will be plenty of extra rules. Each one of them sort of has an extra kit of abilities that are not in any book at all that I've crafted myself. If you haven't played D&D before, I still highly recommend you stick around and watch us because it's going to be a great story, a great time. We're all going to have a lot of fun. And I think that it offers a lot to both sides of that screen there. Now, for our disclaimer. We here at the Homebrew Channel reserve the right to be horrible, crass, and crude when the story calls for it, but also to be delightful, sweet, and to tug on your heartstrings. And don't forget, do try this at home. Let's get started. So we will begin on the high seas. And Jamie, if you would like to set your crew up on your ship. Currently, Dolly is up at the wheel. and the rest of your crew is on the lower deck.
Bolly's up on the wheel.
Oh, she's actually steering, isn't she?
So, Euphemia has a mighty crew of talented and skillful pirates, all of them with their own fates, of course. And she has her first mate, Bali, who is a scarred halfling woman. She has a stern and tough face and features. She herself is a beautiful halfling. And then her advisor, Dom, who has recently joined her crew. He's a dwarf. Her little rope climber, Klebe, a Kenku, who is also their lookout. And Jania, her deadly warrior, who wields a giant warhammer and smashes people in the face with it. And then Triss, her fixer of all things, her bosun, her ship fixer. She does it all. Even does all their pickle barrels. So, Euphemia finds herself on the high sea below the Kraken's spine ridge of island, up in the northwest of the world. And as you are sailing, headed closer to a small port city called Sandbar that you have visited several times before. It is in the Halfling Hills, a peaceful location. And if you make it there, you will be safe because you have committed a dastardly deed. You have, in fact, purloined, stolen the great wealth of one of the pirate lords named Pollyanna. She is a Aarakocra. She is a parrot Aarakocra who wields a bow that shoots lightning bolts. And if she discovered your treachery, of which now you are becoming famous for, she will be after you with her armada, which is significant, since you only possess the Outrunner, a very fast but small ship that is considered the fastest on the seas. And currently, it is proving up to its name, skimming across the high waters on Caribbean-like seas that you can see the tropical fish in. But Bali at the wheel is going to look up as Klebe's constant whistling that signifies where the wind changes both strength and direction changes to a series of alarming clicks. And everyone on the ship knows what that means. It means that there is danger coming. The louder the click, the more close and dangerous the object. The click is far away. So you begin to search the horizon and find 2 ships at your back. Now, since you have just stolen from pirates, it is not good to see 2 pirate banner flags on each one of these ships. The Crossbones and Dwarf Skull of Ronan Ironhand, the Pirate King, who Pollyanna works for. And they are chasing you down. You see one of them, a telltale sign of whose ship this is. It has a giant dragon turtle dragging it by a huge adamantine chain from the front. You recognize the ship as the Armored Knave. The other ship, however, you are not sure about. You will have to look to your crew for advice on that ship. But you are fairly sure that by the Armored Knave being part of the 2 of them, that these ships belong to your old mentor, Kelrock, the Golden Serpent, another pirate lord. So as you look around, Dom, who is the brother of Ronan Ironhand, the Pirate King, will look up at you and say, "It's the rogue." Which brings to mind the legends and rumors you've heard of the amazing ship that's said to go invisible in moonlight.
She'll say, "The one I've heard the stories of."
Right the same. Dom says, "Gotta get the hell out of here."
At least they're taking us seriously.
Triss, your large human workman, will quickly move towards the ropes and begin to sling them like a master. Jania aids her. Both of them are very strong. Dom is going to head over towards the cannon wheel which brings the cannon up from a secret shaft below the deck, the single expensive cannon that the Outrunner has for last resorts. He begins to turn that large wheel and bring the cannon up into the air. Bali is going to look towards you, and then he's going to say, Yuffie, we'll make it to land before they reach us.
She'll eye it.
As you
The wind
pull
is
out,
with us.
she looks up. Klebe, the wind! Concentrate on the wind! She says. Klebe is going to begin to resume his whistling. But this time you note that the whistling is significantly less powerful than before, even before he started clicking. The ship has noticeably slowed in speed. As you see the great dragon turtle far off to the back of your ship, the stern side, it is coming up and diving back in with its huge sea turtle-like flippers, which are spiked. And it drags the great ship by these massive chains, roiling forward at an inexorable pace, not requiring the wind thanks to its impressive bulk dragging it behind. The rogue, however, seems to be struggling in the same dull winds that you all are, and is not gaining on the Outrunner, since she is lighter and faster. But it becomes clear very soon that the dragon turtle is going to cause the armored knave to catch up to the Outrunner. Both of you, Bali and Euphemia, see it at the same time. And she is going to look towards you with eyes wide. What do we do, Captain? She says.
We can't outrun it, she'll say. But maybe we can outmaneuver it. She looks towards the bow side. She's looking to see if there's any rocks ahead. Anything she could swing around.
You do, in fact, see a large underwater rock outcropping up ahead.
She'll pull out her spyglass. Extend it.
As you look through Triss's magical spyglass, you look down into the water and see through the depths. And as you do, you see all the living creatures beneath, swimming in live time. But you can't see them fully. You see them instead as rainbow-filled silhouettes that signify that there is no large creatures down below. Mostly small fish and coral.
She says, up ahead. Port side. I think we might have a chance to do a whale dive.
Triss looks over. She seems to look at the others, and you will see Jania go, Triss, help me with the anchor! The two of them are going to heft the large anchor on the edge. Bali, Captain, guide me here, she says.
She'll say, Dom, take the wheel.
Aye, Captain, he says. And he's going to rush up the stairs. You see him sweating in the stressful situation. Bali's going to come down and seems to lean over the edge of the bow to look back at the ship coming up on you as the great turtle's head rears up, gains a breath, and dives down with the ship pulling forward. You will see, just as you look down in the water and see that great rock outcropping, Triss and Johnny are going to throw the anchor downwards. You have steered the ship in such a way that you are now sailing parallel to the land. And the ship behind you is doing the exact same. As the anchor sinks down towards the bottom, it's going to catch on that rock outcropping. And everybody braces as the ship is going to reach the edge of the anchor line and pull quickly, doing a turn that is impossibly fast for a ship your size. As the ship curves just out of range of the great turtle, you're going to see the crew back on the armored nave begin to panic as the turtle continues straight forward for probably a good 30 seconds beyond, traveling well past where your ship has already turned. Clearly slow to turn. The great turtle is being yelled at, and the pirate is throwing a cutlass at its shell. And you see the chains begin to reel, one great anchoring reel at a time, pulling in these huge chain links. The turtle is slowly maneuvered to turn like a great, like the most massive of galleys. and eventually comes around, but by that time, the Outrunner has already zoomed well past the anchor, has been drawn away in your retreat out of the rock, and is being pulled back up as you see up ahead of you, Sandbar is coming near. You think you're going to make it now.
She says, as much speed as possible. Dead ahead.
Clevey yells out a noise of great enjoyment and pleasure up above. You see Bali sort of run her hand along her head. Nice, she says.
She says, it's been a while since we've had to do that.
You see a ballista on the nave try to fire, but it's going to come up short from the back end. You're going to see Bali go up to the back side of the ship and just flick them off way back there.
She'll say, Calrock just doesn't make them anymore like he used to.
Dom says, it's a good thing, too.
Idiots.
You'll see the rogue is starting to sweep, and it looks like the two ships are going to kind of meet up behind you. But at this point, you already see halfling warships. They're not particularly deadly, but there are a lot of them coming out from the Sandbar Harbor up ahead.
I think we're safe, she says. I think we can stand down from battle positions.
Everybody seems to relax. Their shoulders slump a little bit. Dom is going to lean heavily against the wheel. Triss is going to look at the back of the ship just to make sure that harpoon didn't scratch her. She is very careful about her baby ship. Just as the tension seems to leave the crew, as you know that you've made it, you will see suddenly the rogue ship behind you lights on fire.
Dom, she says, it's not supposed to do that, right?
Not in any of the stories. Walk the rogue, he says. They don't carry gunpowder on there. He's going to come up, and you see that many members of your crew are going to go up to where the wheel is above the ship and look back towards the rogue as it begins to, the fire is going to catch up on the mast and begin to ride up towards the sails. Just as you see that, you will see the armored knave, the turtle. You'll see the chain begin to reel in to the left so hard that the ship begins to scrape away. And the turtle is going to slowly begin to drift away from the rogue. But you see ample movement and activity up on the rogue, or up on the armored knave. It looks like fighting. You
aim it at the water beneath the ships.
You see below both the armored knave and the rogue, perhaps 3 or 4 dozen merfolk. However, as you look directly down, you see a great tail flit under your own ship. Boom. Something knocks against the bottom of your ship loudly.
She'll yell, Merfolk! Sea serpent right below!
You hear, by the pits, Dom yells, as suddenly from beneath the waves, a massive sea serpent and a merfolk that seems larger, to possess more arms, and to be more dangerous than the ones that are below the other ships. Place him next to the middle of the deck, please, near where the mast would be. As you see the merfolk warrior rise up on the back of a massive sea serpent, which immediately snaps its huge shark-like jaws onto your mast, and is going to pull a large amount of its body out, getting ready to perform a rip and pull your mast over to rock your ship into the water. You see that this sea serpent, while large, is not the largest that they possess. However, the merfolk is the most deadly as they come. It is a baron. This merfolk possesses special bioluminescent handprints placed on him by the Empress of the Merfolk herself. They are a algae that grows inside his scaling. And it is particularly huge. He stands about 8 feet tall. He has 2 golden tridents in each hand, which he wields with the upper and lower of his forearms. And as the merfolk as the sea serpent rears up out of the water and snaps, the merfolk is going to jump and roll onto the deck, and is going to let out a gruesome roar. Seawater will fly like spittle from his mouth. Bali is going to whip out both her knives and leap towards battle. You see Triss look around and has no weapon. She just picks up a wooden beam. Klebe is squawking and jumping up and down like a child on the upper deck, clicking very loudly. Yes, thank you. We know that it's dangerous.
How far is he from danger?
He is, if the mask gets ripped down, he's in danger. But if, from where the Baron is, he is a good 30 feet between, upwards. Bali, with her two knives, jumps into combat as, Jania goes to get her hammer, which she left on the far side of the ship.
She'll pull out Pearl's Lament and charge.
You pull out your onyx black knife. That seems to be made out of a metal that is not cast. And as you leap off the deck, go ahead and place both you and Bali adjacent to the merfolk.
Creepy, go over there someplace. Okay.
All right, and please roll initiative.
20.
All right. You will go first, the Baron, and then Bali. Go ahead.
Okay.
As you approach the Baron, he's going to look towards you. The question that I must ask is, do you have Talona Fin Killer's bandana on? The moment he sees the black sun of Talona Fin Killer on your head, the merfolk is going to know that you are a chosen enemy of the merfolk, an enemy of their nation. And he is going to, you'll see his black shark eyes widen, and he's going to rush forward, slamming his tridents down into the ground in time as you duck and dodge away. Go ahead.
Okay. Is he adjacent at this point to Bali?
He is, yes.
Okay. She's gonna attack with Pearl's Lament and also do a sneak attack.
Yep.
As well.
Because you are a swashbuckler rogue, you can indeed. And also, Bali, as the merfolk is going to come upwards, she is going to run forward, leap up, and basically flip kick off the side of him, knocking him off balance, allowing you a good shot.
Let's do an attack roll. 24.
24 hits through his scaled breastplate.
Okay. So let's do sneak attack. Plus 9 piercing, plus 14 for the sneak attack damage.
23 points of damage. All right, and how does Euphemia perform this Pearl's Lament stab?
She's going to use some additional, let's see, what are the points called?
Fate points?
Mm-hmm.
So Pearl's Lament, Euphemia's weapon, is a fated item, and it possesses a powerful fate. I am pain and sorrow. And she is able to abuse that fate in order to cause those things around her or in those she harms with it.
How many points would it take to make him feel like she'd taken the sea from him, taken his freedom away, bring him sorrow and pain?
I'll allow it automatic on a 4 or with a saving throw on 3.
With a D.
I will roll the save throw if that's the case. Which one do you want? 3 or 4?
3.
3? Okay. He rolls the saving throw. Wisdom. He fails. You are going to see as you land the lament in him, stabbing him in his upper calf. He is going to stagger away, and you see his arms sort of go limp at his sides, his tridents drop to the ground, and he sort of seems to fall to his knees, coming prone. And I'm going to roll at the end of his turn to see if he is able to overcome it. He is devastated by the effect that lament causes within him. He must now believe that he is no longer able to enter his homeland. Bali is going to attack. You have Bali's card.
So I do.
She is in the back of your items.
Yes, I see her.
And
She's one of my items.
She is, yes.
Okay.
And it should have a DPR, damage per round, at the bottom that she deals.
8 slashing DPR.
Okay, so she is going to attack, and with 2 cross slices is going to rent into the Merfolk, dealing additional damage. The Merfolk looks quite wounded at this point. However, at the end of the round, the creature is going to bite down on the mast, and let's see how much damage the Merfolk is going to deal, or the sea serpent is going to deal to your mast.
I know.
41 points of damage to the mast. And an additional 20, so 61 points to the ship. And I'm going to roll a saving throw for the ship to make sure it doesn't snap. Okay, it did not. You're going to hear as the teeth from the sea serpent, which are slightly smaller than you are going to... Actually, they're much smaller than you. They're like the size of large daggers. Are going to grind into the wood, and you will see the wood begin to bunch up a little bit, and it pulls, but it is unable to rip off any wood from it. It has coiled its body now around the mast like a serpent. But you see that its eyes are focused on the Baron, who has fallen in front of it. All right, and it is your turn again.
Okay. She's going to use ghost hands, I think.
Okay. With gloves upon your hands, you're going to rush forward and attempt to reach your hand into the Baron. Okay, go ahead. Take an attack roll.
14. Let's see, do I have an additional?
Yeah, you get your regular attack bonus.
Okay.
Or what's your personal attack bonus?
It's plus 10.
Plus 10? Okay,
So 24.
yes, that's right.
Again.
All right, you're going to rush forward, and your hand is going to drive into the Merfolk, seeming to phase into him like water.
What comes to her hand when she reaches in?
When you reach in, you feel all that the Merfolk is, thanks to your fate. You are going to see a proud, noble warrior. The Merfolk has been highly disturbed by a dark trend within the Empire, a deal that the Empress has made, but it is not his place to question such things. You will see that this particular Merfolk is on his first mission ever. He possesses in great quantities pride, loyalty, and what you would call honor are his most important traits to himself.
Can she simply take his consciousness?
You can. I will roll Constitution saving throw. You reach and easily, with his current psychic state, he's been devastated by the loss of the sea. You're going to pull forth from him what looks like a little jeweled bauble. In this case, it is a little jewel of his head on a coin. And you have pulled it from him, and you're going to see his eyes rear back, and he falls heavy to the ground. As you do that, Jania has actually snuck up behind him and just bumped him on the head with a giant, with her giant hammer. She thinks that she did it. And she's like, yeah!
She'll lean around. I got it!
She's gonna look up. Oh, good, Captain. We work together.
We need to do something about that serpent.
The serpent is seemingly trained to save its master. And as he falls, it is going to open its mouth, coil across the deck, pick up the Merfolk Baron in his mouth, and jump off the edge. Go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw to not get knocked the hell over by his teeth.
19.
Yes. Jania is like, yeah, and then like, "Phew!" and it's like falling over on the side of the ship. She's going to stand up with like this huge gash from his tooth on her arm. You know that their mouths are not particularly cleanly, so you will have to clean that. But now that the great noise of the serpent roiling off the edge is over, Klebe is going to be chirping like crazy up above. That there are, as you stand up and look over the edge, there are what seem to be dozens and dozens, maybe 100 or more merfolk chasing the ship down. But as the ship is, the wind has picked up and pulled the ship towards the merfolk on the shoreline, you begin to hear cannon fire into the water behind you. The halfling ships have fired over the Outrunner to drive the merfolk away, and they seem to be successful. As you pull into the cluster of halfling ships, an armada against the merfolk and piracy, you are thankful that you have made a deal with the kings of Garen to give you safe harbor in this place. Otherwise, you would be driven away as well and be dead.
Yay!
As the merfolk sailors are going to set down a crossbraid between their ship and yours and come over, they're going to give you a firm salute. "We've heard about your coming, Captain Euphemia," he says. Still feels good to hear that. And he's going to say, "We are here for your protection. If you would like to make port over on the far edge, you can be assured of your ship's safety."
You have my thanks, she says. Well timed.
The escort is going to take you to the far side, and you find yourself hours later, after Triss has cried over the damage that the sea serpent has done to her ship and complained about the inadequate resources here in a tiny town like Sandbar. You find yourself and your crew in an old tavern, talking with each other.
May it be a familiar old dwarven tavern?
It may indeed. Lair and pot. Triss says, "Captain, we just have to go somewhere else. There's not enough wood here, and it's not high quality."
She says, Triss, I feel like I hear that from you at every port we make.
Klebe is going to look up at you and say, "Captain, the metal here sucks. We have to go somewhere else," in Triss's voice. And then, "Look at these beams, Captain. They're riddled with termites." Triss is going to push Klebe over out of the chair, and he's going to squawk in alarm, and then scurry back into the chair just like you would up the mast. Dom is going to put his hand up. "Oh, they do have good quality goods if we go upriver a little bit to Garen." "Going to Garen may allow us to lay low, Captain," Bali says. "After all, the heat's on us pretty hard now. With those two ships, they're going to report to Kalrak, and you know how he is."
I do know how he is.
"We can beat him. Captain, if we go back out to the sea, we'll take them all on," Jania says.
She says, and you want us to take on their warships in the Outrunner?
"Just get us close enough to board," Jania says.
While they're talking, she's signaling to Bali to keep buying drinks for Triss.
She, with a little nudge, Bali understands perfectly and begins to add a little bit to the order. Triss is swallowing her sorrows in fine dwarven ale.
She'll say, do you know anyone, Triss?
She says, "Do I?" She seems to think for a minute and then says, "You know what? I think I do." She says that the current dockmaster at Garen, I think he's actually one of the friends of my father from Bellwether, she says.
And would he cut us a good deal?
"I bet he would," she says, looking a little happier Maybe it's the drink, maybe it's the discovery. So, Captain, where do we head then?
She looks at Bali. You up for Kieran?
That I am.
Let's go make some trouble there.
Isaac, you are in a confession booth in a church in the city of Selenox. The church is rich, but not large. And you sit across from your brother. He is across a mesh screen. Even if that screen weren't there, it would be difficult for him to know you. It's been years, and you've changed so much since he last saw you. Your brother Michael is a cleric here, perhaps one of the one good ones left. A man who actually cares. That's rare in these churches, which are used to benefit the nobility and give them a clean place to talk about their criminality.
He's a cleric now and not a priest?
I'm sorry, priest.
I got
He does not possess powers. You both are tieflings. He is a significant amount more red than you now, although you used to be about the same color. And you see, as he sits across from you, you come here often. I see you in your robes. What troubles you so this night? He says.
So he doesn't know it's me. Yeah.
You've often wondered whether or not he's allowing you to believe that he doesn't know so that you can speak freely, or whether he doesn't actually know at all.
Is this after the end of my backstory where... Okay.
Yes. By the way, all the players have played a significant portion of backstory time, so you'll find them familiar with their characters, a little more so than you will be, but don't worry, you will easily get the hang of it pretty soon.
We'll do our jobs right. Yeah.
Tell me, Father, what do you make of all this madness that's been wrecking the city?
I'm not a father yet, he says. Still brother. He nods across the way from you. He seems to contemplate. His eyes narrow slightly. I think that Selnox is trying to find itself, and has not yet succeeded. But when it does, you will see a land changed. One where that dream that people have of finding a new start in life can become a reality instead of a ruse.
I was a part of this chaos for a brief time. Do you think that would ever happen in our lifetime? It seems like such a far-off goal now that I can't even imagine that ever being the case.
I'm not a wise old sage, but it is the ability to hang on to hope that makes things happen. If you do not believe, then it will never come true. You say you were in this chaos, my son.
In a way, I suppose we all were.
Did you find yourself on the outskirts of danger, or were you in the middle of it?
In the middle, unfortunately.
Have you hurt anyone?
Yes.
Do you wish to make penitence for your sins? Know that the angels call on us to reflect inside ourselves, that the forgiveness comes from you, not from me.
When his brother says angels, he thinks back on his friend who is no longer here. And he replies, yes.
Then pray with me, my son. You will find the peace that you seek, if indeed you seek it. As the two of you say the prayer of heaven's light together, you're sure 1 second that he knows, and then the next that he doesn't. Do you have any more sins to confess, my son?
No, brother.
Then I will allow you time to leave, since you clearly value your privacy. He says, then I will exit.
Thank you. Isaac will get up and walk out of the booth.
As you walk out, you walk into the church that you've gone into 100 times or more. You used to come here every Sunday in order to make, well, with your family to make criminal business dealings, mostly. But in recent times, you've found the peace that many have spoken about coming from churches like this. You see a great mural behind the altar, one with the 7 archangels, with their leader Mazrian, his wings spread wide. And below that, since this is a tiefling church, all the devils laid out below him. The blessings of the angel Mazrian fall upon the damned, and they are changed. That's the idea, anyway. As you head towards the exit, you will see your brother come out from behind, but your voluminous robes gathered around you block any vision that he might have to learn that you're his brother. But as you head for the door, it opens, and a large crowd, much too large for this late at night, is going to enter the church. As soon as you see them, you know that there will be trouble. You know that these men are from another household, one which earlier in the day you made a great deal of trouble for, upsetting a large weapons deal in the city. They are likely here because they found you. You're going to see a tiefling at the front, and as you see him, you know that his name is Abdiel, and he is a goon with a number of tiefling thugs, and they are from a rival house to your own, the Torbath clan.
Abdiel?
Abdiel.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, what have we here? He says. You're going to suddenly hear your brother's voice from behind you. You there! Weapons are not allowed in the church. What are you doing? You're going to see 6, at least, men. All of them armed fairly well. And, oh, we mean no harm, brother. We just have come because we're meeting a friend, he says. And he's going to look and lay his eyes upon you. Isn't that right, friend?
Well, then perhaps we should meet outside of the eyes of God. How about you follow me to the back?
No gods in Mythia. He says, fine with us. Can you allow us to walk out the back, brother? We promise we'll be fast, he says. You're sure that these are your friends, traveler? He says,
I turn, exposing my face through the cowl to my brother for just a moment, and I give him a wink. And then I turn back around.
You are sure there is no recognition in his eyes?
Okay. Isaac feels a small sting of pain at that, but...
They're going to put up their hands, spiked bats and blades in them as they go to walk out the back of the church. Sorry, brother, we won't bother you anymore. Just ignore any sounds you hear, he says. At this point, they're just mocking him. As you head out the back of the church, you see before you a graveyard laid flat. And you will see several statues ahead of you.
Is this also a statue?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It is a statue of the Grim Reaper. Okay, so go ahead and place your character here, coming out, and
Okay.
you get a free movement into the graveyard. As soon as you step out, you see that it is incredibly misty. Very difficult to see anything, in fact.
Perfect.
It is very misty indeed, and you did not bring any of your constructs into the church with you.
Of course. Okay. He's going to run to right here, and he's going to hide behind this statue.
You will see the leader, Abdiel, come out, and you see them pause in the doorway as they see the graveyard in the mist. You note that they are hesitant a little bit. They don't know who you are exactly. They only know somebody like you entered a deal earlier in the day and screwed things up for their master. Spread out, Abdiel says.
We rolling initiative yet?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I'm going on a 10.
Okay. Abdiel is going to say, "Oh, go. You go that way. Zeke, the other way." These two are going to head carefully. It's only 3 squares. And they are very close to you, but the vision is 1 square away.
Okay.
As it comes with his own cover.
Yeah.
They begin to spread out into the graveyard, looking around for you. The 2 closest to you are going to roll and see if they get a perception check to see you. Nope. Not even close. They're like, you hear, "Where is he? I don't know. Be careful, though. They say he's got powers." "What kind of powers?" "I don't know. Some kind of wizard or something." You hear, "Shut up. Not going to sneak up on him like that," the tiefling says. You're going to hear him draw a blade, a long scimitar out from his belt. And it is your turn, sir. What did you get for initiative, by the way?
10.
10. Okay. So you go second. So it's leader, and then you, and then baddies.
Do you have the card for thaumaturgy?
Thaumaturgy?
Yeah.
Uh,
I think it might be in here. Isaac.
you want to shake the ground or something?
No, he was going to project his voice in a certain way, but...
You can do that. It booms out from you.
Okay, I want to make it seem like it's coming from all around them rather than from where I am.
Okay.
The church is a place of business, I know, but not business like this. And then he's going to use his action to animate this angel statue.
All right. You animate the statue sitting above the gravestone, and you are allowed to make it have an action.
Okay. It's going to attack guard number 3.
Okay, and it is a medium construct, so that is in the sheets.
Yep. I got it right here.
Okay. So as the guards are sneaking forward, they suddenly see a figure loom out of the mist beside them. They are very confused since this figure has wings upon it.
Here it is. Alright. Does it get 1 attack?
Yes, that's correct.
Does a 12 hit?
It does, yes.
Okay. It's going to bludgeon the guy for 6 damage total.
All right, 6 points.
Yeah.
All right, the thugs are going to see a figure suddenly loom out of the mist, and as they look over, one of them is going to thrust his sword towards it, and it's going to dink off to the side, and they're just going to look up with terror in his eyes as suddenly it raises its hands above its head and crushes down on top of him. He's going to, the other one is going to take a terrored step back away from the angel statue as he does. Isaac has used his fate, which is he allows him to touch any inanimate object and bring it to life to serve him, to cause that statue to come to life and do just that. He's going to take a step back into the mists, and you're going to see, he's got wings! You hear him yell out. Right, and it is Abdiel's turn. He's going to move over in that direction, but can you move him 1 square away from the statue?
Right here?
Or
1 more away?
1 more way, up, in between the 2 statues there.
Oh, right here.
There you
I
go.
gotcha.
He goes, "Where are you guys? Where are you?" He says, he's sort of like swinging around wildly. You can hear them panicking in the mist ahead of you. And the bandit who was struck, the thug, is going to stand up. Does 15 AC hit?
Yes.
All right. He is going to strike for 12 points of damage on the
Okay.
statue.
Got it.
He will swing around and hit it, and then this one is going to stagger back away and then try to come around for a flank. These guys are going to move basically randomly in the mist, trying to find stuff. This guy's going to be like, oh shit! He's going to fire an arrow at the giant Grim Reaper statue, riding on a Cerberus of Hell, of the pits, excuse me, not Hell. And they're all freaking out at this point. He goes, he doesn't bleed! You hear. Alright, it is it's your turn.
Okay.
Way to get your image up.
I enhance my voice again and I say, I may not, but you'll be bleeding much tonight. And then he's going to animate the Grim Reaper statue.
Alright, roll an intimidate check.
Alright. Not good.
Oh.
Pull up my sheet. Oh, actually, that's a 9.
9? Okay.
Yeah.
You hear from Abdiel. He goes, remember, there's good money on his head! As you animate the statue before him, so the guy shoots the arrow at the statue and then is like, oh, it's a statue. And he kind of just like turns to the side, and suddenly like the statue like rears up with like its giant reaper scythe, and then just like comes down on him.
So is he large or huge?
He is a large. His
Okay.
base is large. So you have animated both creatures, and you
Yep.
may also move in your turn.
Okay.
And you have a bonus action if you want to use it.
Move right here.
Your statues are making such a racket, thrumping around the graveyard that they can't hear your soft footsteps moving through the grave soil.
The first angel statue is going to step to here and take an away from him.
Okay. It will hit, and it does 4 points.
Okay.
He is going to swing again wildly and sort of hits one of the fingers off. It actually like hits him, and he's like, ah!
Medium and the Grim Reaper statues are going to hit the leader.
Okay. Alright.
5 plus 8. 13 hit him?
13 hits. Yes.
Okay. And then for the angel statue, 7 plus 5. That's another 12. Does 12 hit?
Yes, 12 hits.
Okay. 2, 6, 1. So the angel hits for 8 damage. That
8
was a good roll.
points.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
And then the Grim Reaper is going to hit for 5 plus. Ooh. 17 damage.
17?
Yep.
Alright. So this angel statue is going to come forward, and he kind of he's like looking at the fog. It's like this dark, angelic figure comes out, walking slowly. He hears this heavy thrumping, like, and then this giant like stone fist is going to rear out of the mist and just sucker punch him right in the gut.
Oh no.
And then he's going to like stumble backwards, and just his head just with a scythe just is going to lop off his head. The head is going to like fly into the air and like splatter several of them with blood, and then it's going to roll up to one of them like and just like looks directly up at him, and he goes, "Run! He's an angel of death!" They yell. And they're all going to flee in every direction.
Okay. That's a statue. He's dead. Rest in peace. He didn't know what he was getting into. Okay. I put the statues back where they were and I de-animate them.
Right. You hear, "Hello?" Your brother talking out the back of the church. "Who's there?" "There are six priests here," he says. "We're coming out."
Isaac will say from the mist, "All is fine, brother. I convinced them to leave."
Isaac?
With that, Isaac starts to retreat into the fog.
As the fog swallows you, You hear them slowly creep out from the building. What happened? You hear, somebody hit someone against the statues. Look at these marks. You hear. But it fades into the distance as you back up, find yourself over the the iron bar fence, and find yourself back on the river road. You can smell the ocean in the distance now and hear the shore. And you will see and hear a lumbering creature coming towards you. Master, it's me, Rombo, he says. Your faithful servant has come out of the mists just where you set him. He goes, I heard a scuffle. Anything happen?
Prongor, did you know they were coming tonight?
He says, he looks a little offended, says, had I known, I would have been down there with you, or I would have warned you, he says.
A good point. Got caught unprepared, embarrassingly enough. Quick, let's get away from here.
He says, Master, they were from the Torbath, weren't they?
That they were. It seems our actions earlier didn't go unnoticed.
He goes, what will we do?
A good question, Prongor. I need time to ponder.
He goes, I understand, he says. And he just sort of stands there.
Well, don't dilly-dally. Follow me. We're leaving.
Yes, master, he says, and immediately begins after you.
It's been quite some time since I've been involved with family politics again. I'm out of my depth.
He says, not to worry, master. Politics is your specialty.
Yes. But amongst other nobility, it's always tougher than it is outside of the city.
He says, do you think to go to your own home? Not been home in a long time, master. 3 years now.
I think I may not have a choice. I think they know that I'm here in the city again.
You think they know it's you? Oh, they will, won't they? Once the word gets back to Lord Torbath, Nikolai.
No.
He knows of your fate.
Did I know that?
You're famous.
Okay, yeah. I'm trying to think of who does and does not know my fate.
Some low-level thugs might not remember, but Nikolai Torbath would.
Of course.
He goes, anything for me to carry, sire?
Do I have anything? I don't think so.
Just your staff.
Yeah. No, I'll hold on to that. No, not right now, Prongor.
He goes, of course, master, he says. You hear, as the hunchback, ugly human, carrying an already fairly sizable load, continues to walk behind you steadily, with a smile plastered permanently across his face. He is near the master, and that is enough for Prongor. So where does Isaac go to?
What time was it? I'm picturing it's late at night.
9 p.m. The church keeps a one priest on duty all night. That happened to be your brother this night.
He's been thinking about his family, and he knows that he probably won't be able to sleep until he confronts what he's been dreading. So I think he's going to go home.
Prongor, it seems, notes the significance of your path. What do you think your father will think, master, of your new form?
I know he's not going to be happy about many things.
Do you have one of those skin-changing scrolls again? I can go fetch it for you. Unfortunately, you did not have one made for the circumstance since you weren't expecting to go home.
Yeah. I suspect it's likely better if he knows the truth. Can't hide it from them forever.
You do?
No, on second thought, what am I saying? That's crazy.
I was about to say, Master. That seems crazy.
As insightful as ever. Prongor, let's go back to our base and I can whip up another in no time.
He goes,
No need to scare my poor mother to death.
he nods. And the two of you are going to head towards the tunnels that lead down below the city.
I must be feeling awfully bold after confronting my brother so closely, but I guess he never laid eyes on me. If only for a moment.
He goes, well, Michael was always considered the lesser of the two brothers, he says.
Ouch.
As always.
He goes, you are the prodigal son, of course, Master, with your impressive fate and amazing talents.
Tell me, Prongor, after all this time, do you ever wish that we had simply stayed here?
I wish what you wish, Master.
Somehow I knew you were going to say that.
He goes, that's because you're such a genius.
Thank you, Prongor.
You're welcome, Master. Anytime.
When we get back, fetch my quill and parchment for me. I'd like to get to work quickly.
Of course, Master. And I will brush off the area you're going to work in as well. As you make the decent trek underground through a series of secret tunnels, ancient catacombs below the city that haven't been used by regular people for hundreds of years, you find your way to your base of operations, a grand cavern, once said to be the home of a lich, where you found your magical staff that resides in your hand. And Prongor is going to quickly lope into the cave, find your pen and parchment, and clear off a large stone desk that you've used occasionally. There's like random scattered furniture throughout your evil lair with a number of like stalactites rising up to the ground, but most prominently, a grand floating spiral staircase rises up in the center of the room to a floating platform. The only remnant of an ancient explosion that took place in the Lich's lair, which killed the mighty Lich Betmorth, who you've stolen the identity of in order to scare the shit out of the populace many times. In your youth. You're over that now. As you sit down to write the scroll, do you need anything more, Master? Prongor says.
Peace and quiet.
He's going to loudly lope over towards the wall and then sits quietly. As you complete your scroll work, you dot the last I and you roll it. You carefully dry the ink and then roll the magical implement up and are prepared.
Okay.
Do you make your way to your home? You know that tonight, of all nights, is a night in which your father would often meet late at night with a group of other like-thinking nobles to plan upon their business dealings, and that would sometimes go midnight or later. And afterwards, he would often sit for hours in his study with a fine whiskey.
Can I bring my bronze scout with me?
As you walk over towards the soldier-like menagerie of monsters, each one a creation of your own, and touch a worm-like creation forged out of bronze, it is going to come alive at your touch, thanks to your fate, and will await your orders, or will follow you automatically.
Okay. Isaac holds his hands out, and the worm kind of crawls up into his hand and then up his arm into his clothing.
So the Bronze Scout is medium, so it's the size of a large dog.
Never mind. No, it does not. I was picturing something more small.
Now you look like a hunchback,
I was
like
gonna
Prongor.
It is also quite spiny.
Ouch.
It's funny.
Okay.
It can burrow.
Yeah, that's fine.
As you leave the hard rock of the caverns, the creature is going to burrow, and you can't hear it, but you can feel it with your faded senses underneath you. And you find yourself standing before the black gate of the Crowley house. It has been a long time. You see some lights on inside, and it's too late for there to be any groundskeepers out. But it is the house of a rich, noble tiefling family with the proper gargoyled architecture, the out-of-date, out-of-commission cannons on the walls to intimidate the rabble, and the large manicured lawn. This is your home.
From memory, I look at the window that I know leads to my father's study, and I see if I see lights.
You do see light. You don't see silhouettes, which you can't see if they're sitting down.
Okay. I'll send the bronze scout up there and see if it hears voices in my stead.
As the scout pops its head up below, it does not hear any voices within the area.
Okay.
Although it doesn't have very good ears.
No, but...
Your senses cast away from your own mind, and you find yourself in a shell like the bronze scout. You have placed your senses within it, and you hear the distant noises of the ocean through its ears, and you can hear somebody sort of cleaning up just inside the window right in front of the bronze scout.
Okay. If that's all I hear, then I think Isaac is going to enter, probably not through the front door, but through a side or back door that he would know from growing up there.
As you enter, you're almost immediately caught. You will be walking in, and a servant, a tiefling servant, is going to see you. You there? Who are you?
Isaac will put up a hand like this, and with the other he pulls back his hood to reveal he's used the scroll by now.
As you've used the scroll, the woman goes, Master Isaac. I'm Runella, she says. Are you here to see your family?
I'm here to speak with my father. If you don't mind, please don't let anyone else know that I'm here.
Your father will want me to escort you.
Well, then by all means.
It's been so long since you've come back, she says as you begin to walk through the hallways.
Do I recognize this particular servant? Was she working for us when...
She was a household cleaner when you were a child. She is an older tiefling. You can tell her age is on her face.
Okay.
She says, what has brought you back to the city?
Various going-ons. I'm sure you've heard of what's been happening in the lower half these past few weeks.
We remember seeing your face all over the pamphlets, she says, when you represented the nobility against the uprising.
Yes. It was quite the mess, wasn't it?
Indeed it was. Thank the lords it didn't touch our house.
It did not.
Those filthy vermin never made it into the hills, she says.
They did not. He smiles at her. You could also say that it's perhaps nostalgia. I haven't been home in many years.
I wish your mother were here, but she's out on business.
I'm sure I'll see her tomorrow.
Yes. She knocks on your father's study. Who is it? It's Runella, my lord. And your son, Isaac. Isaac? Isaac, my boy! Come in! Come in!
Okay. I step inside.
My boy! My wonderful boy has returned, he says as he comes forward. He's going to throw his arms around you. My word, Isaac, you're so skinny, he says. You feel like you haven't eaten a bite since we last met.
I have thinned out a bit. It's been a hard past few years outside of the city.
More wiry than a gecko, my boy. Sit. The drink will fill you up.
Okay, Father, that's enough. Stop commenting on my weight.
He says, very well, very well. But we're going to fatten you up now, that's for sure.
At least I have one thing to look forward to.
He goes,
Tell me, how did tonight's discussions go?
he's going to take a fine, what's your favorite drink?
Let's make it whiskey.
He's going to take a fine sifter of whiskey and pour you a shot. He goes, normal, boring, he says. Nothing particularly interesting for your ears.
As consistent as ever, I see, Father. Have
Yes.
those talks ever been exciting?
More than you know.
Fair.
So, you're back. And I assume you've worked out your wiles upon the trail?
Did my father grow up in Selenox?
Yes.
Father, tell me, did you ever have a time in your youth where you ventured outside the city walls?
Oh, yes, I did. I've told you. My trip to Aragoth, he says, when I met King Jasia.
Did you enjoy it?
He says, it was an impressive show they put on, but I have a love in my heart for this city. You can't find tieflings in the same number. It's difficult to get all of our homemade food.
Could I have an example of what a uniquely tiefling dish would be? If not, that's fine, but I'm just super curious.
Yeah, actually, tiefling dishes and Selenoxian dishes are almost inexplicably linked. So you're talking like braised blue bass, spiraled lobster.
So tiefling culture is very uniquely tied in with Selenoxian culture.
Correct.
Okay, I got you. Tell me, how has Mother been?
She has been busy, working. You're beginning to make me nervous, son. You've come back and you've not mentioned anything of your travels. Are you trying to hide something from me?
Oh, gosh.
Where have you been?
I'm your eldest son. I'm always trying to hide at least one or two things from you at all times.
And you've always failed, up until now.
It seems I'm failing again because you can see right through me.
If I've been not a part of your life for 10 years on now. You've been out in the world, I've heard.
10 years? Has it been that long already?
At least. You were working with the other nobles during the rebellion, but we barely saw you.
Yes, that may or may not have been against my will. To have my face plastered on so many posters across the city streets.
Well, certainly was a good omen for us. The best of the nobility at the forefront of the fights against the rabble.
Has that affected how the other families are seeing us now?
It has, yes, very much. Quite differently, you might say. You've come back at an important time, my boy. We have a new game. Things have changed. They are not as they were. The rebellion has changed things. And it is good to find you home. So tell me, how did you choose now? And don't lie to me.
Well, as you could probably guess, I initially left in some sort of attempt to discover myself after finding so much success here.
You sowed your wild oats. I'm sure there's plenty of impregnated females upon the road for you. Says, and now you're back. You're here. You're home.
Goodness, Father.
That was why you left, wasn't it? These local girls weren't good enough for you.
Isaac is actually stunned for a moment, thinking of what to say. Father, if I told you that that was the reason, would you take it at face value and stop questioning me?
Yes.
Then that is why I left.
Thank you for finally admitting the truth. Your mother has argued differently the entire time, and now I shall tell her I've been right.
What has she been saying?
Something about discovering a different path in life, some garbage.
We did meet each other just briefly during the rebellion. I'm sure she told you about that.
You did. She did not mention it.
Being my mother, she somehow rooted out where I was hiding and knocked right on my door.
Well, we shall have a discussion upon that when she returns. So, you've still not come to why you've come back. You've told me why you traveled. So spit it out already.
I suppose it's obvious that I'm avoiding the subject.
It is, yes. It's growing tiresome.
Isaac becomes very serious and looks his father in the eyes and says, "This Torbath had a weapons deal happening earlier today, and I may have interfered with it. And I believe that it may come back to bite us."
You were the one responsible for them. Of course.
And I worry for Mother.
What have you done? Why did you interfere in our deal? Why were you even there? How did you know of the deal?
I have eyes and ears throughout the city, and I interfered because it seemed like the right thing to do at the time.
What a foolish move you made. You've ruined our relationship with the Torbath clan. Now, that would be quite a bit of news that they have any relationship with the Torbath clan. They are basically been feuding with your family for years.
They're a bunch of uncouth barbarians. I don't know why we're even building a relationship in the first place.
Because they have armaments and guards, Isaac. Because they have resources that your family needs. And now that you have bungled the deal, you're right. Nikolai will likely think, if he knows that you're responsible, that we were connected. You foolish thing you've done.
Do you think there's any way we can recuperate this?
Yes. Now that you're staying, we shall go to him tomorrow together. You will apologize. We will spend the money to replace his lost guards. And we will salvage the situation.
Lost guard. It was just one.
Why? Why, pray tell, did you involve yourself? You're that vigilante. You're the one breaking up all the nobles' deals. Isaac, why? Why are you ruining our business?
It seems the secret's out. Mother was right.
Who is helping you? Who are all those men with you?
Isaac lies and says that there are many in the city, even amongst the nobility, who agree with his goals.
Roll a deception check.
Okay.
DC 14.
I am not going to use any magic on my dad.
Oh,
I failed.
You are.
7.
Well, I know that's a lie. The nobility is unified, Isaac. We are tired of allowing the chaff and rabble to walk amongst us and scream out their demands at a whim like children. That is why the Torbath clan made their deal with us. That is why the noble clans have united.
Did it never occur to you that maybe the rabble, the common people beneath us, deserve a fair say in what goes on in this city?
What? What are you even saying? You sound like your brother.
He may be my younger brother, but I feel as if maybe he's been influencing me more than a bit.
What a terrible person to look to. Your brother is no one who has thrown his entire life of opportunities into the garbage bin. Your brother, as much as I may love him, is a trash tiefling. Isaac, do not throw away your opportunities and ambitions as your brother did. Do not find yourself in meek waters, trying to justify the actions of animals that sit below our mountain. We are the rightful ruling class of this city, and that is why the noble families have joined together recently. Isaac, you here with us, we can finally unite the nobility in a way in which the rabble will never be able to touch us ever again. With your power and your ambition, we can take over this city.
Isaac looks visibly shook from what he said about his brother. You know, Father, Mother is right. I left this city to figure out who I really am. And it's not what you want me to be. I couldn't do that to the city. I couldn't do that for you. I'm leaving. And I don't think I'll be coming back.
He's going to stand as you do. Isaac, you may not leave. Where are you even going? He says.
To bigger and better places than this.
There is nowhere better than Selenox. You'll find that soon.
I think all I've found is that while you are in control of it, there is many places better than here.
You see... Do you turn around and look before you walk away?
Yes.
You see a confused expression, a man who's understood you for most of your life better than anyone else, looking at a stranger. He shakes his head slightly, as if he can't quite contemplate and doesn't want you to leave. But he can't quite come to call your name again.
I'm sorry, Father. Perhaps speak to my brother a little bit more, and maybe you'll begin to understand. And then Isaac walks out.
You hear a glass shatter. You find yourself back, walking into your lair. How did it go then, Master? Well, he says, are we moving back in?
Prongor, a drink, please. Hurry.
Drink, yes. He's going to... He expertly pours you a drink and gives it over, with his metallic makeshift arm made of clockwork.
And to answer your inquiry, it did not go well. I don't think we'll be moving back in.
Oh, then the lair. We'll be staying here in the lair, he says.
Prongor, I think Selenox has been limiting us. I think we need to leave again, but for good this time.
Whatever you say, Master, yes. Who cares about Selenox?
Prongor, do you have family?
You know I don't, Master. You are my family.
Do you enjoy having me as your only family?
Yes, Master. I wouldn't have another.
Well, then let's make haste. Let's pack up our things. We leave tonight.
Where are we going, Master?
I'm sure I'll think of something on the road.
After Prongor has packed up, you find yourself sitting on the floating island above the lair, looking out over what was once filled with men who would sing your praises, cultists that you controlled to terrorize the city. Prongor has shuffled his way up the stairs and come to sit next to you. Everything is ready, Master.
Thank you. I'll be missing this place. I doubt we'll ever find another base quite like it.
Master, I have a query, if you do not mind.
Speak.
We've been in the city now for many years. And slowly, I've watched your grand plan unfold, expecting that we would revive the old gang in one way or another, or find a new one. But I've come, I think, to see that that was never your plan to begin with. You've done things without anyone asking you to, for no payment. Master, I hate to say this, but I fear you gained a heart.
I'm going to often feel guilt for misleading you for so long there. I guess the fact that I feel guilty at all means that you're right.
Should I grow a heart, Master?
Isaac puts his hand on his shoulder and says, Prongor, I believe you may already have more heart than the rest of us.
Well, two strapping young men with great hearts. Perhaps there's only one place for such heroic and noble men.
What did you have in mind?
The city of heroes, Garen, says.
I suppose that is the one place we did not go to during our travels.
When you go in the city, everyone will immediately see your greatness, and they will elevate you to the levels of Roland Tarkan.
Prongor, that would be the day. I'm afraid that even in a city like that, my reputation precedes me.
Well, nobody gets started without a try.
True enough.
I mean, if we're going to try to do things for free and for people's benefit, I suppose we might try in the place where people do such things, and that is not Selenox.
Okay, we'll leave. You know, Prongor, it is not uncommon for people to get paid for doing good things. I just want you to know that.
What have we been doing the whole time?
The much more lucrative path of doing things.
You said another thing that I don't understand at all, Master. Says, but,
Ponder on it tonight, maybe it'll come to you.
well, the wagon is ready as you requested, a hidden coach to put all the creatures in, he says. And I will extend our renting of the wagon to Garen. I'm excited, Master. It's a brand new start for us.
Me as well.
Says,
Do you have anything left that you need to do before leaving your home behind?
I was hoping we might fix my shoulder a little bit. It's been squeaking, maybe a little grease on it. He says as he sort of like moves the metal shoulder and you hear a little...
Oh, why didn't you speak up sooner? Here, I have supplies, and I'll start fixing it as we get on the road.
All right. It is midday. Excuse me, not midday. It is late afternoon, coming towards twilight. Roland, the hero of Garen, and his girlfriend, Leslie, are on the road, headed towards a small halfling village called Brightbean. Brightbean is a middle-of-nowhere location, but you have been given you and Leslie specifically, have been given a quest in Brightbean. There have been sightings of what they call a creature of darkness near Brightbean. So close to Garen's borders, it is necessary that somebody go to check it out. And they send you and her, since creatures of darkness are quite vicious and known to be very dangerous. You're not excited at all, are you? Leslie says. Look, I know that them needing Shadow was a big deal, but she'll be fine. Your dragon steed, Shadow, was required for scouting back in the city, and you have been forced to separate from her for a time.
Yeah, I really don't like living behind.
Come on. It's so rare that you and I get to do anything alone, especially a special mission from the kings. She smiles, and you can see the excitement in her eyes.
I can't believe they let us go together.
They're finally respecting me a little bit.
This isn't really a serious mission, though, Leslie.
What an ass you are, she says. She's gonna slap you on the backside. She goes, what is a serious mission then, pray tell, champion steward of Garen?
If it was that serious, they wouldn't have let me leave Shadow back there.
Oh, I'm sorry, so I'm not worth as much as your dragon is.
No. If they thought it was deadly, they wouldn't have let me leave without her.
Oh. She goes, Roland, you are the worst talker I have ever heard. Like, you make Opt look like he's a bard. She goes, so we're on a completely undangerous piddly mission in Halflingville. I guess let's just not worry about it. Just take off your armor. It's not even important.
No, it's is before I was hero, Garen and whatnot, Coldmane used to do this stuff all the time.
You think the kings now are doing something that Coldmane did?
No, but they are. We're gonna go. We're the talk of the town. We're gonna fix this. It's gonna be fine.
We're gonna be the talk of the town?
Yes. You haven't been here before, have you?
Why would I go to Brightbeam?
I've been a couple times. They're gonna freak out.
So then what is this? Is this a PR stunt?
Kinda. It lets them know that we have them. We have their backs. And they're sending me, and they're sending you. And they're letting the town know that, we got them. It doesn't mean it's not gonna be fun.
You're right. It probably will be.
It will be fun. But it's gonna be pretty chaotic when we get there.
You don't actually think it's a creature of darkness, do you?
I don't know.
I hope it's not.
But I am kind of glad that Shadow's not here for it.
I'm amazed to hear you say that, to be honest.
But I am glad you're here for it.
She says, I think you're only interested in one thing from me being here for it. She gives you a kiss.
But the light powers and whatnot definitely are going to make this way easier for me.
I cannot believe how good your bedside manner is. I am just stunned by how romantic you are.
I'm just saying I don't feel in danger around you.
Sometimes you accidentally say something all right. She goes, oh, there it is. Oh my gosh, it's so small. We're going to be giants, she says. She looks down into a small valley where they grow beans. You see pot-bellied halflings with little piglets tied on ropes, one with a bushel of corn in his hands. Little halflings playing sword and pirates on the dirt path in between the buildings. It looks maybe the entire town is a couple 100 yards. And as soon as you come over the rise, you will see a farmer who is trolling along with his wagon, just sort of like halt his donkey and like stare at the two of you. Are you Roland Darkhan? He says. You did the salute, he says. He kind of looks around. He goes, Mary, it's Roland Tarkin. He did the salute at me. You're going to see a halfling pop up from the field nearby You go, what did you say? He goes, it's Roland Tarkin and he did the salute at me. Look at him. I can't see a damn thing over the corn. She says. She's going to come out from behind the stalks. And she goes, but by the angels, it's Roland Tarkin. Why didn't you say so? He goes, you deaf, blimey pig. What? Leslie goes, okay, you were right. Come on, let's go. She's going to take you by the arm and begin to head in. You see that there is a bright, vibrating excitement about her. She's not been on an official mission given by the Crown yet. And as you head into town, it is very clear that you were not wrong. Almost immediately, a half-crescent moon worth of halflings is going to gather around you all. And you hear, oh, it's his girlfriend, too! What's her name? You see her kind of look over towards them, and then you see a little girl halfling, barely the size of a pumpkin, comes out and goes, it's Leslie! It's Leslie Lightwarden. It's Harper's niece. You see Leslie? Oh, yes, Leslie! You see some of them clapping. One rather brazen, sort of wild-haired halfling is going to come up and go, when are you two getting married? Leslie is going to look towards him with a charming and winning smile and goes, when we're ready. It's very dangerous as adventurers. He goes, well, all the more reason to get started, then. He goes, I've already got 20 children. You're going to see, as you stand there, how awkward is Roland.
He's kind of used to it at this point.
Okay.
He just kind of
nods
nods and smiles and just tries to play it off with as few words as he has to. Holy shit.
Super.
23.
Alright, you practice the smile and wave. As you, smile and wave, everybody's clapping and a little song starts up. They're starting to sing your song, in fact. The one about Roland on his dark dragon. And as the crowd sort of gets going with the bardic tale, you will see what seems to be a well-dressed halfling man. This looks like the mayor. He will part the crowd. Welcome, welcome, Roland and Leslie, please. Oh, we are in great, wondrous joy for your arrival. Please, if you would come, I will explain the situation to you in a more private setting.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, they've arrived, everyone. Yes, your great mayor has sent for them. Yes.
He shoots Leslie a look like...
As you head into the mayor's house, you duck beneath the doorway and the rafters and the pillars and make your way to the little tiny couch that fits barely two of you. Leslie has a skinny frame, and sitting down on the couch, the both of you are like up to the armrests. He sits in a giant chair that is like twice as big as the couch. He goes, oh, thank you for coming. My mind has been filled with worry. There have been sightings of this horrible, tall creature just after twilight. Says it comes out and other tiny halfling-sized monstrosities rove about it. The land becomes sickened, blackened. When we find its trail in the morning, our crops are dead.
Has it hurt anybody?
There have been people that have gone missing, he says. The Cauldron family, for one, has lost its mother and its father, old Barry and Sally.
Is all the damage centered around a specific area, or is it sporadic?
It's up in the upper hilllands where the farms are mostly.
So
The creature has been too afraid to come down. We suspect the fires have kept it away.
Fires.
We light
torches?
fires at the night as a way to ward off the beasts.
Well, we'll take a look.
Thank you both. He's going to get up from his chair and sort of come over and sort of like pat Leslie on the hand and then turn and he's going to give you your signature salute. He goes, "Thank you, brave soldier of Garen, for coming with such haste."
If we aren't able to take care of it tonight, where should we board?
He gives you the information. You'll be staying in the inn, which has large people rooms. As you head out, the crowd is sort of still smattering around. Go ahead and place yourself on the map, please.
Does it matter where?
Just outside of that house that you're in front of?
This one?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, nice.
As you come out, you will see still a large crowd of halflings. You're in the middle of the market. There's a fountain nearby. And, some of them are still sort of clapping and cheering and stuff. And then you're going to see one particular halfling who's sort of staring at you with this uncomfortable gaze. You're going to see that at the last light of the sun sort of falls below the hills. This halfling is sort of going to stare at you, and then he kind of Roland, he says, trying to get your attention.
I look at him a little uneasy.
He goes, "You are Roland Tarkan.
Yes?
We need your help. Over here." Leslie's going to sort of take a small step back from the halfling. "What's your name, halfling?" He says, the name of the halfling the mayor said was killed a moment ago.
Or went missing, you mean?
Right.
Okay, just making sure. He kind of gestures to Leslie to stay back and approaches.
"We need your help, Roland. Please. We are in need. Dire straits." As you take a couple steps forward, do you draw your weapon?
Not yet.
"Please help," the halfling says, looking up at you, but it seems to have no emotion on its face.
Is it this one?
Yes.
He starts to kind of...
As you walk forward,
He does hint to Leslie with his other hand, like a little, but behind his back, for her to start walking. But to keep her distance.
you see, as you don't hear anybody following you, as you look back, you see dead panic on Leslie's face. You think not only does she know what's in front of you, but she's terrified of it.
He pulls his sword.
The creature's eyes are going to go to the sword. That is not help. As the halfling smiles at you, you're suddenly going to see a pair of claws rip the skin of the halfling away, revealing a faceless man.
How it fit, we don't know.
Do I need
The
to...
other halflings in the area as well rip open to become darklings. As you see the creature before you rip its skin away and reveal its many children in the crowd, you will see a surprisingly tall, perhaps maybe 9 feet tall, actually no, it's more like 13 feet tall, with almost super long arms ended with these massive wicked claws, and its face, it is wearing the face of a halfling. A literal carved skin mask. That it is actually speaking through the halfling's voice towards you. The other littler ones seem to have been wearing some kind of cocoon-like guises, not flesh like the Faceless Man. And as they tear away their guises, they're going to screech and croak, causing all the halflings in the area to turn and flee in terror. You know that a faceless man like this killed Leslie's father and gravely wounded her sister. It is one of her worst nightmares. Roll initiative. What?
11.
All right, 11. You will go first, sir.
Cool.
And Leslie will go last.
He's gonna charge straight in and cut the Faceless Man off from this little halfling so he can, I'm assuming, scurry away?
Yes, he will scurry away at the end.
Cool.
Right now, he might still get chopped.
Gotcha. And he's gonna attack twice with the sword.
Yes.
That's not gonna do anything. 11 is not gonna attack.
No, that will miss.
And 16.
16?
Mm-hmm.
As you strike out, 16 will hit.
16 hits. Cool. That is 16 damage, and I think that's all radiant. Is it all radiant damage? Or is it?
No, it's 2 radiant
Two radiant damage,
and the rest
okay.
is slashing. You could use your Channel Divinity on him.
Oh yeah,
Gain
I'm
extra, either
I'm
advantage
gonna vow enmity on it.
On the Faceless Man?
Yeah.
Okay. And that gives you what?
It's advantage on attack rolls against the creature for 1 minute or until it drops to 0 hit points. So I should have done that before I attacked, but oh well. This is the first game. Yep.
Okay. As you move forward, you know tactically that you need Leslie to use her powers to blow away the smaller ones. So you were able to face the large one yourself. You hear in your mind as you approach, "Hurry, get the girl. Get her to destroy the lesser creatures." The voice of the other inside your head comes to you.
Yeah, I mean, I signal to her to try to systematically take him off.
Alright, it is the Faceless Man's turn. He's going to try to grapple you. 16 AC.
Nope.
Alright, it is going to come forward and try to rend its arms around you and, put you in a sort of elongated bear hug. But you're going to twist to the side, and the creature's going to kind of go past you, and then it takes, this super long step and sort of gets down to roughly your level, and is going to look towards you and say, "Please help. Please come with us. We need your aid." In the halfling's voice. The darklings are then going to attack. They are going to come forward, and those two next to the fountain, no, the other two. Those two are going to attack Leslie, and the other ones are all going to attack you.
Sorry.
Leslie is hit once, twice. Leslie's going to take some, both of the darklings that attack Leslie are going to rush towards her and sort of leap, screeching onto her and, stab her with their claws. And they're going to, twist around her and hang on her like little tiny clawed monkeys. The other ones are going to attack you. And each one of them has pack tactics, which means they get advantage when they're attacking you together. What's your AC?
21.
Okay, one of them will hit you with a critical hit, which is 17 points of damage. And that one is attached to you. You are grappled by him. I'm sorry, it's not grappled, it's attached. So it is going to jump. The others are going to scrape against your armor and cannot pierce it. but one of them is going to like hook right here underneath your armor and kind of dig his claws in, and then is going to put his little leg on like the in between the plates of your Trask armor there and be able to gain a handle on you. And it's going to drive its claws into your neck. And they are screeching wildly. As Leslie is attacked, she is going to basically raise her hands up towards the sky, and with the last vestiges of sunlight, she will course them downwards, and 2 flames are going to strike against the Darklings on her and destroy both of them. She seems to snap out of her terror and says, "I'm coming!" And it is your turn, sir.
Will being grappled affect my attacks?
So you're attached to, not actually grappled.
Attached,
So
yeah.
it basically comes with you when you move.
Okay.
It's the one closest to the one on the left side of the Faceless Man.
I look over my shoulder at Leslie and say, "Can you get this thing off my back?"
That halfling does go to run away and does take an opportunity attack from that Darkling.
Oh
Alright, as he goes to run away, the Darkling is going to leap on his back and pin him to the ground and start ripping him apart. And will kill him.
I'm gonna keep my attacks on the big homie.
Alright,
So 14's not gonna hit,
no.
and 23 is.
23 will hit.
And I'm going to attach Divine Smite.
What level spell slot do you expend? 1 or 2?
So just a first level spell slot, I guess.
So you gain, what, 2d8 damage?
Oh no. I'm gonna do it as a second because
Second level?
because I get to
3d8?
do 3d8, yeah.
3d8 points.
So
Okay.
21 damage plus
He needs to roll a hit.
that
we already
was the
Oh,
hit, yeah.
oh, I'm sorry.
So 21 plus 8, 29, 31 damage.
31 points?
Yep.
Alright. Just as the sun finally crests below the horizon, it is now dim and dark. These guys now gain resistance to damage. So they'll take half of that.
Even though it's radiant damage?
Yes. They have no they don't have any vulnerability. Really. And what was your damage?
31.
31. Okay. As you draw the radiant blade out, which seems to, the black blood of the creature seems to slide off it. You're going to shove the blade into the Faceless Man. He's going to stagger backwards. And it screeches, and it's going to, like, tear the face off from its head. And you just see this blank, face-shaped mask of skin. And it is going to, like, there doesn't appear to be a mouth, but then it's suddenly going to open up this basically maw filled with teeth. And it's going to come forward with both of its arms and rake at you. 16 and 11? Is that both miss?
Nope.
It is going to come forward, and as it strikes, its blades rent off your armor and sparks fly from it. And as you feel the pressure on it, but you feel nothing of its strikes through Griswold's armor. And that is its turn, and it's the little Darklings.
He just smiles at it.
Alrighty. And the Darklings are going to attack as well. One of them is already on you.
Mm-hmm.
So the one that's on you is going to do an automatic 7 points. And that armor. So as they basically like scrabble, hit your legs and knees, and they're trying to do anything they can to rip you down, they're doing nothing to you. There's a halfling warrior that you see, sort of trembling to the side with terror as he looks at the giant, 13-foot tall creature before you. He's gonna like pick up a stone and like throw it. And it's gonna like hit the Faceless Man, and he sort of turns, and then the halfling's gonna like throw his weapons up in the air and run away. Leslie is going to draw out her lantern. And she goes, "This is for my sister, you bastards!" And she's going to draw forth the power of radiant heavenly light from the lantern and then throw it like a fireball in the center. Okay, the faceless man seems unaffected. It's going to throw its head to the side. It seems blinded at most, but the other three are destroyed.
Oh no, he grabbed me. He really was on me. He really was attached.
All right, and it is your turn, sir.
Okay, so he's going to strike at him. That's a certain hit. 17, 15.
As soon as you're alone, your stance is suddenly going to change. I probably don't need to know damage for this. His damage is multiplied by 4 when he's alone in single combat. Just go ahead and roll up and see what you get.
Gotcha.
The other takes control of your body, the manifestation of your fate, and is going to move more perfectly, fight more ferociously than any other creature on this world is capable of.
40.
40 points.
So times 4.
So, 40 times 4? Alright. That's fair. So as the faceless man is going to rear back, you are going to basically pull your lance, hurl it into his chest, and then lob your sword directly through his head. And it's going to fly back and stick in the wall, and then it's and then right in its face. And you feel the others subside in you as the fight ends. And you are left with the cleanup.
Oh, should I scan any bodies?
Leslie is trembling when she falls down to the ground. She drops the lantern as carefully as she can with a shaking hand on the floor.
He runs over to her.
"We did it," she says.
Thank you.
"Oh my. We did it."
You did it.
"I did it,"
You did it.
she says. "How about we clean up and go home?"
Yeah, I think my weapons are stuck in that wall up there.
"Oh yeah. Let's get a couple of halflings with a rope."
I can get it. He's gonna walk over and jump up on his lance and then pull himself up to grab the sword and yank it out and then come down.
Pull it it's that far into the wall with the throw. The other is significantly stronger than you are. The lance, you are on it and you're pushing all your weight on it, trying to get it out of the wall. And after maybe 17 or 18 of those, it's finally gonna bend a little bit and you kind of slip it out.
See, I've probably gotten used to him launching weapons and walls. I've got a technique at this point.
That's true. As the faceless man sort of slops off and lands on the ground, Leslie is going to come over, her eyes wide, as she sort of lightly touches it. "Let's go home."
Yeah.
And last but certainly not least, June.
Come on in.
The door opens. It is your niece, Annalise. She is a tiny fairy. And she is glowing with a small radiant light. You, however, are currently in the guise of a human. And she has opened the door. "June, your 2 o'clock is here. His name is Waylon. I was hoping to talk to you about something, though, before you guys meet." She flies over towards you. Her tiny gossamer wings are going to stop as she lands on the edge of your large
She
desk.
scoots some papers over so she has more room to stand.
She goes, so I wanted you to look at this. I've been working on it for a little bit now, and, well, I think it might, in a little more testing, allow us to discover the location of some of the creatures of darkness. She holds out a very tiny bauble in her pinprick-sized hand.
She takes it and then taps it with her wand.
All right, as you pick up the Godmother wand and place it upon the item, you will see a reaction of magic spill forth from both, giving you some indication of the capabilities and powers within.
She places the paper down and quickly glances at it. Ooh, I like what you're saying here. She gets a pen and then kind of licks it. Didn't actually mean to do that. Licks it and then shakes it once and then does a few manipulations.
She goes, oh, that's genius. You really shortcutted that problem.
She just shrugs. Well, you did all the work.
What are you working on?
She just hands her the sheet of paper that she was... Well, she holds it up so she can see it. I'm trying to vet the new people coming in, so the council can decide.
She nods. Well, that's exactly who this Wayland is, she says.
Anything I should know?
He's a little curious.
Well, we all were at one point.
She goes, you were?
No, not I.
I was going to say, never. She smiles. She says, well, I'll show him in.
She quickly finishes doing the last bit of her. Puts a dot and puts her quill down. And then she turns her entire attention towards him.
You're going to see an elf walk through the door. He is wearing a large robe, blue, and as he steps in, you're going to see him kind of look around the office, a little bit startled, like he's coming in for an interview.
She's trying to suppress the slight quirk of her lips.
Oh, wow, he says. This office is really something.
She goes, well, I like it. It's pretty comfortable.
Is that a dragon scale?
It is?
What's this a feather of? He says, picking up an angel feather.
That's an angel feather.
Oh, from what angel?
I don't remember.
Wow. He's going to kind of set it down. He comes over towards the desk. Oh, he sits. So, I have been told that you're the expert in these matters and that I should bring my plans to you in order for you to look over them.
She nods.
Yeah. He's going to pull out a sort of a manila folder, basically, and hand it across the table towards you. He goes, You're part of the council, right?
Yes, I am.
So, you make all the decisions for the organization.
We do it as a group.
Wow. I just gotta say, I'm really overwhelmed. This place is really big.
You'll learn the ropes quickly enough. Everyone does. We all start somewhere, right?
How do you learn the ropes whenever you step through a mirror, you're in a different section of the building?
Get used to it after a while. You start to remember which waves lead where.
After a couple seconds of you looking over the paper, how long have you been a godmother?
A while. I started when I was quite a bit younger. She winks at him. She clearly appears to be quite young.
So we call it the subterranean darkness conjunctural sphere. And it's supposed to allow us needed protection if we were ever to enter the Underdark.
She nods.
And what do you think?
She quickly flips through it one more time. Just Doing a double check. Does she see anything that is glaring?
You think that some of his conjurial work is a little complex. You'll probably need to send him to the conjurial master in order to make sure that it's within proper parameters for complexity.
She goes, I think you might want to see Silas for a few of this, just to back up your work. I don't think some of this can be done solo. You'll find him in Selenox.
He says, which mirror is that?
The southern one. It's backwards, I know.
Well, aren't there 3 southern ones? He looks at you. I'll find it.
She just blinks.
He goes, so, as a godmother for a while, any tips for a newbie? I'm still amazed at this power, he says. Do you know how it comes to us in the garden?
I've heard lots of rumors about it, but I think it has something to do with the moon.
Is that why we do it under the moonlight?
Mm-hmm.
So, is the spiral garden the only place where you can gain your wish?
Yeah.
And I know we're not supposed to use it for ourselves, of course, but what if we have to?
Well, you were chosen for a reason, Waylon. We trust your judgment on how to use them, usually for the job, but occasionally, if it's necessary, especially to save your own life, you may use them for yourself.
He nods. Okay, well, thank you for...
When in doubt, ask somebody around.
Hey, is that a mirror? He says, pointing at the back of the room, a covered object.
June looks at it, gets up for a moment and smiles. She goes, yeah, you want to see?
Oh, how do you have your own mirror? I thought they were really expensive.
Well, considering how long it took me to make it, yeah.
Wait, you made it? I thought they required whole teams.
I had help. She smiles and she pulls down the pink silk curtain covering it.
Oh, it's kind of small, he says.
Yeah, well.
I don't even think I'd have to duck to step into that one.
I'm sure a person could squeeze through, but it's not really for use anymore.
Wow, it's defunct?
It works. I just don't use it often.
He kind of gives a look around the office again, trying to see if there are any more hidden object gems inside.
She raises an eyebrow at him as he obviously is wasting her time right now.
Thank you very much. I'll get right on that. Silas, right?
Yes.
Selenox. Okay. He's going to turn.
She quickly gathers up the folder and then signs off on a few things and goes, there you go.
Thank you. Juniper, right? He nods.
Nice to meet you, Waylon. Welcome to the team. She offers her hand to shake it.
Thank you. He's going to reach out his hand and shake yours. You have very nice hands, he says. He's going to step out.
She's like, okay. And she kind of chuckles in amusement. Shakes her head and then picks up what she was working on. She stops and then she glances over at the mirror that she still has left uncovered. The bit of cloth is on her desk.
You hear the beetle box fly over towards you.
Oh, I wouldn't probably be concerned by that. I was like, what is it?
It's going to land on the edge of your desk, a tiny beetle-like object made of wood. You realize that you actually are a little thirsty.
She'll open it and pull out a teacup and a saucer and a pot of tea.
Pot of tea is steaming.
Quickly, we'll pour herself some.
In order to remove the objects, the beetle box grew to the size of about a small dog, at which point it presented itself to you, revealing that its wings were actually at the top of the chest, which, with your magical talents, you lifted open, pulled several objects from, which there looks to be nothing in the box at all, and then closed the wings back up. And it was shrunk back down and flew away as a tiny beetle. As you enjoy your afternoon cup of tea and look back upon your papers trying to resume your work, you will suddenly hear an odd noise, something that is not a normal din in your office. You hear a cracking of glass. Or something like glass, I should say. The noise will call your attention behind yourself. And as you look back, you see the mirror behind you with a fracture in it.
She'll probably blanch and get up and quickly walk towards it.
As you look into the mirror, which has a somewhat a fine mirror sheen to it, but on the edge it seems to it clearly is not made out of glass and wood. As you see the fracture appear, it begins to widen. You see it directly in front of you begin to grow larger. Additionally, you see within the mirror a visage, a tunnel that you recognize. The stones seem to be made out of crystal.
She is going to blindly kind of fiddle behind her, and her wand is going to fly to her hand. She's going to try and figure out a way to stop this from happening.
As you frantically begin to perform spellcraft upon the mirror, you're going to see almost instantly the mirror is going to explode outwards, flying into 1,000 pieces.
Yes, her eyes widen as she throws herself that way.
As you throw yourself backwards, the glass is going to stick like shurikens into the wall.
And probably my body.
Several cuts are going to lash you, and the noise of the explosion is such that it calls the attention of those outside the notice.
Yeah, she would probably shriek in both pain and surprise as she thuds into the wall opposite.
As you try to move, you're going to hear the door open. June! You hear from outside as your niece Annalise is going to fly into the room and look with devastation at the smoking ruins of the mirror.
Yeah, she's slowly going to uncrumple from the ground.
She says, "What the pits happened? Where's the mirror?"
In my arm and my face and the
Hold
walls.
still, she says, and she's going to use her fairy powers to use telekinesis on the shards to pull them out, and then uses powerful healing magics to begin healing your wounds.
She winces. Thank you.
Are you okay?
Yes.
What happened?
I don't know.
She
It
goes,
shocks her to her core to have to say that.
"Are you okay? You're dazed. Come on."
She's still shaking her head, constantly trying to think, and can't. She's in shock.
As you step out of the room for a moment, other godmothers from different parts of the office begin to come over and look towards you. June, what does this mean?
I don't know. Did any of the sensors go off? Are we under attack? Are any of the alarms going?
You see godmothers looking around. You hear one say, "No attack! How does a mirror blow up from the inside?"
I don't know. Perhaps the magic inside it. Yeah.
What?
She looks at her niece.
What'd you say?
Who said this?
Annalise.
Yen.
Jossie?
She gives her a meaningful look.
She goes, "What do we need to do?"
We need to see if we can. We need to see if we can get in contact with the scouts. See if any of the outliers know what's going on, what happened.
See if there's any other ripples throughout the world.
She goes,
See if it happened anywhere else.
all right. You! Quick! Go find out information from the scouts, she says. You, Selenox, Bridgewalk. Find out information from the cities. See if anything is happening.
She goes, Garen, I think they're building a watchtower near the edge of the Crystal Forest.
She says, get a hold of the Kings of Garen. As
She is going to turn around and pull a small pocket mirror out of her pocket, and she closes the door to her office really quick, and she goes,
you hear outside, the mirrors aren't working.
Rafe? She taps it a few times.
Nothing happens.
Rafe? By the light.
No communication from the scouts.
She opens the door and she goes,
June, what's this mean? All the mirrors are down. But not the teleportation mirrors, just the communication ones.
I don't know. We need to find out what happened in the forest.
She goes, so a mirror blows up from the inside. That's gotta be an enormous amount of power.
None of the other mirrors blew?
She says, not one, not so far that we've received.
It's the link.
Mythia and Jossie's lair. You think he's in trouble?
Maybe?
If we don't have any communicating mirrors, we can't get a hold of any of the godmothers in any of the cities without going there. And none of the godmothers are stationed near the Crystal Forest at the moment.
I know.
You said Garen had a watchtower nearby?
Yes, they were, last I checked, they were in the process of building it. They should have guards there already.
Maybe spellcraft will work. If we can get a hold of the kings.
Sending would probably do fine. But we should probably just go to Garen.
She nods. She goes, who should go?
She goes, we'll need to contact Adrian.
She says, okay, we'll get a hold of her. She's going to, you guys will do ascending, and
Does it work?
it does, yes.
Thank God.
Fidrin speaks across the line.
Thank you.
Juniper?
Phaedron, something's happened with the mirrors. All the communication mirrors are down. We think something might have happened in the Crystal Forest. I know that Garen is opening a watchtower there. Can you please go and request information from the kings?
She says, I can, but if you haven't forgotten, I'm in the middle of a rather extraordinary assessment at the moment.
Of course you are. You know what? I'll go.
Are you sure?
Fina hasn't been there in a while, so it'll be fine.
Your niece nods and seems to come to an understanding, and then is going to fly after you. She says, I'll keep everything on lockdown here, make sure that we have all the information we can collect. I'll send anything to you that's relevant and pertinent.
Yes, yes. She turns back and waves her wand slightly towards her office, and she can see that the beetle box flies out towards her. And her cloak flies out too.
Alright? And as you walk into a large room filled to the brim with teleportation mirrors, each one traveling to different locations on the planet.
Is Waylon in here? Wandering around lost?
You do, however, see that your rather determined walk has garnered the attention of the other godmothers, who are trying to figure out what's going on as well. As you step towards the mirror, you'll keep us informed, won't you?
Of course. I'm assuming that was on a list?
Yes.
She goes, of course.
She goes,
Hold down the fort.
good luck.
You too. Keep in touch.
As you step into a sort of blue liquid-like substance swirling within the mirror, you find you're chilled. Frost forms over your skin. You step out the other side into a different place. All right, and we're going to go ahead and give it a pause there, guys, and we will hit you all back up with another video real soon. And don't forget, do try this at home. Have a good night.